Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how I cleaned and reorganized my mom's garage in just 4 days. So this is my mom's garage. She's the one who got me into flipping furniture. This all started a few years ago when I was moving out of her house and moving in with my now husband. Neither he nor I owned any furniture. We were just starting out our careers and we were paying for our wedding. So you can imagine the budget was pretty tight. So my mom suggested we refinish furniture in order to furnish our apartment in a budget friendly way. What was the worst that could happen? We either succeeded and ended up with some nice refinished furniture for our place, or we failed miserably and ended up in the exact same boat we were already in. As you can imagine, after that, we were hooked. We started buying more and more items to refinish, and then we started selling some pieces here and there just as a hobby. We ended up getting so many items into her garage that a few years later, this is where we were at. I know for a fact there are a handful of projects in here that are either halfway done or none of the way done. But in all reality, because it is so messy, I have no idea where to start or where things are. So, in order to clean out my mom's garage and get these projects done, I'm decluttering and organizing it. First things first, you analyze the situation, take a deep breath, then hope and pray I don't give up in the middle of the process. I started off by making some subsections on the floor with some blue tape. You really don't have to do this, but since I'm a very visual person, this really helps me out when it comes to organizing and categorizing things. I created a donation pile, a garden and yard pile, a cleaning supply pile, a paint and furniture refinishing pile, a Christmas pile, a trash pile, and just other miscellaneous. Then I went into action and I started removing all of the items from the shelves and placing them on the ground based on their category. As I was going through things, I found some really cool items. Like this little box right here is from my brother and sister in law's wedding. It just took me back, like the really cool memories of preparation for their wedding, the moment that we were there, and just all those warm and fuzzy feelings. But at the end of the day, I knew I had to keep going. By the way, I did run out of blue tape, so I ended up only with one visible section on the ground. Oops. But, I didn't want to waste any more time, so I just kept moving forward. After about 2 hours, this is how the garage was looking. A bunch of piles of different items organized on the floor by categories with 2 empty shelves. Now, this was the real challenge. My vision was to move this third shelf that was on the side right next to the other two. Somehow, don't ask me how, but I was able to clean the third shelf off and move it right next to the other two. It fit like a glove. In order to organize the shelves, I first decided where I wanted things to go. On the first shelf, I wanted to add any household items. So any cleaning products, yard/garden work products, and anything that my mom would need easy access to. Originally, I wanted the second shelf to be Christmas items, but you'll see in the end, I ended up moving this to the third shelf because those household items were a little bit more than I expected and they overflowed into the second shelf. The Christmas ornaments were in their original boxes that unfortunately were falling apart. So I decided to buy some of these ornament storage containers. After a very, very long first day, this is where we were at. The garage looked even worse than what we started with. There were piles upon piles of items on the floor. The shelves were all together side by side at the front of the garage. Success there. And some items had been reorganized and restocked on the shelf. Day 2. This was a short day. I had my nephew's birthday dinner and I had to do some errands, so I just really needed to be as efficient as possible. So I decided to focus on the left side of the garage. To organize the drawers in the toolbox, I just use them to containers to create some compartments and allow it to stay organized in a long term. After about a 3-hour workday, this is where we were at the end of day 2. The donation pile was getting larger and larger. The floor was actually starting to clear out, and we were down to 2 piles. The garage looked like we were actually getting somewhere. I was super pumped. Day 3. We had a big mission this day. We had to get through some old paperwork. You see this pile I'm going through right now? It is some old correspondence from when we moved into this house quite a few years ago. So now my mission was to get through these documents, shred what needed to be destroyed, recycle anything that could be recycled, and archive anything that needed to be archived. Just put it away to where we knew exactly where the important documents were. Even though it doesn't seem like much, it took us, my mom and I, the entire day to go through this paperwork and organize it accordingly. It was a huge pile of papers that we went through, and I was very pleased with the progress. By the end of day 3, this is where we were at. The donation pile was about the same from day 2. The boxes on the right were empty, and we were down to one pile of boxes. Let's go! Day 4, home stretch. The mission for this day is to get rid of the pile of boxes. These were mostly personal items, such as my mom's miniature collection, some books, pictures from our childhood, CDs, VHSs, and so many other things. I also found a set of china that belonged to my grandmother. I know my mom wants to display this somewhere in the house, but since she doesn't have a place to do so, I decided to move it into a plastic storage bin instead of a paper box. And believe me, I'm on the lookout for a hutch or some kind of china cabinet to refinish for my mom so she can display this in her house. As far as the VHSs that I found, I did some research to see if they were worth anything, since most of them were Disney movies. But unfortunately, they weren't. So they ended up in the donation pile. Who knows? Maybe someone out there still has a VHS player that works and they can enjoy these classic movies. Finally, the last few boxes were family photos. Some were framed, so I decided to move those inside the house to display them, but most of them weren't. I suggested to my mom that we should take some of these and create like a photo album or even send them to get digitalized so that they don't stay in a box in the garage for another, I don't even know how many years. However, this was definitely a project for another time. So for now, I just decided to leave them in a box in the garage. With all the boxes sorted out, the floor cleared of the piles and piles of items that needed to be organized, and the shelves restocked, all that was left was to load up the car and take all the donations to Goodwill. Okay, guys, this is what we started with. A garage filled with projects we've collected over the years, boxes upon boxes of items that we never opened when we moved into this house, and just everyday household items that have been accumulating in the garage over the past couple of years. And we ended up with a clean, restocked, reorganized garage. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, there's still a bunch of items right there on the right hand side of the garage. And yes, indeed, you are correct. That's going to be my mission for the next couple of months. There's a bunch of incomplete projects that I still need to go through. I'm going to be sorting them out and completing them through probably the spring. And hopefully, I have an update for you guys early summer of 2024. There are still things that I need to get rid of in this garage, like you'll see some Coca Cola bottles and some family pictures in the boxes that I need to sort out. But like I mentioned before, that's going to have to wait for another day. I really hope you've enjoyed this transformation and maybe you picked up a few tips on how to start organizing your garage. The hardest thing is to start. And remember, it will look worse before it looks better. Take it one step at a time and try not to get overwhelmed. I appreciate you guys watching this video. And if you haven't done so, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost you anything and it really helps me out. For those of you who have subscribed, thank you so much. Your support means so much to me. You guys have no idea. I'm going to try to post one more video before the end of the year. It all depends on how busy the holidays get. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye and I'll see you guys next time here at Angie's Crafts Furniture Renovation. Bye, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. See ya.